Having a safe place to learn is a logical objective of all educators, but many students do not feel safe at school. We should all feel sad knowing that there are students who are afraid to come to school, whether it's due to a global threat, bullying, or harassment. This session will focus on what we as a district are doing to create a safe place to learn for all students. Creating a safe place to learn for all students, protecting students from bullying and harassment. For this assignment, you will need to have access to a mobile phone device to activate the Padlet message boards. Let's begin. Identifying signs of bullying and harassment. I want you to reflect on a time when you were in school, or now that you're an educator, when you've seen someone being hurt by someone else's negative behaviors. Sometimes it is quite often hurtful for a lot of us. And what do we usually do to things that are hurtful? We usually use a Band-Aid to cover it up, to protect that area from being hurt again. For this activity, I want you to reflect on a time when you were bullied, you observed someone being bullied, or you assisted a student that has been bullied. Once you've reflected, you will need to get your mobile phone and scan the QR code that is presented before you. Most iPhone and Android cameras can be used. If you're using another device, you may have to download the QR code app. If you need to, feel free to pause the screen at this time. Now that you have scanned the QR code, you should be directed to this screen, Bullying Awareness. Now that you have reflected on that incident when you were bullied, you observed someone being bullied, or you assisted a student that has been bullied, I want you to type your response here on the message Padlet board. Some examples have been provided for you. If you need to, feel free to pause at this time. We'll come back and visit that portion of the section at the end of this session. Bullying in Title IX. I have provided both definitions for bullying in Title IX because they have some commonalities in regards to documenting, collecting evidence, and reporting. The Florida statute for bullying is here before you, but the key word I want you to focus on is repeated. Repeated written, verbal, or physical behavior. Training, common understanding. There are three training types that were developed within the district. Online training for all employees, online training for school-based administrators with a focus on setting school climate and intervention strategies for school level, and face-to-face training for all administrators with a focus on effective investigations and reporting procedures. The training for all was to get a common understanding district-wide that brought attention to issues in regards to bullying in Title IX. That way, we demonstrated ways to address the issues and alerted all staff on how to be alert of the signs of harassment. Online school-based administrators, one of the major focuses were to create an atmosphere of trust and positive relationships among staff and students. The interventions, each school level, elementary, middle, and high, had many suggestions for appropriate interventions in creating a safe place to learn for all students. Investigation and reporting. All school-based administrators had to attend a 2-hour face-to-face training, and the focus was on effective investigations as well as process for reporting. Understanding how to identify signs is the first step. Changes in behaviors. As you can see on both sides, we have some listed, and I'm sure you all can name behaviors that you have observed on campus with your students who may have experienced being bullied. Difficulty sleeping, unexplainable injuries, feelings of helplessness, decreased self-esteem, frequent headaches, going back and forth to the nurse, changes in eating habits. You may have some students that may not eat at all, sudden loss of friends, those who have withdrawn themselves from their friends, self-destructive behavior, the kicking, the hitting, the punching of him or herself. And then because of the behaviors that you're seeing on campus, the school then suffers. You may have declining grades of the students, loss of interest in schoolwork, student does not want to come to school, or there's no interest in school social events. Now it's time for another activity. First aid for bullying and harassment. Before you have 5 items that you will find in a first aid kit. But this time, I want you to use these items for your bullying first aid kit on your campus. You have tweezers, cold pack, ace bandage wrap, soothing eye wash, Neosporin. I want you to use 2 of the items that are placed before you and type in your response on how you would handle bullying on your campus using 2 of these items. But first, you need to have your cell phone, scan the QR code. Feel free to pause at any time. Once you have scanned the QR code, you should be directed to this screen, bullying strategies. Some examples have been provided for you. If you have tweezers, you would pluck out the negativity on your campus. If you have a cold pack, you will allow a cooling off period for your students. If you had the eye wash, wash out the negative behaviors on your school campus. You may not use these examples. However, I want you to be creative and type in your 2 responses on how you would handle bullying on your campus using the items: tweezers, cold pack, eye wash, ace bandage wrap, Neosporin. Feel free to pause at this time. Investigation process. When an incident is reported on campus, it is usually reported by phone call, or in person. And when it is reported, either the principal, assistant principal, or the student safety liaison is the first one to conduct the investigation. Once an investigation has occurred, then the Form 2508 incident report is completed, followed by Form 2509 investigation summary. Then the school completes 2597 student investigation evidence. Parents of the students are always involved and contacted immediately following the investigation. If needed, put in a stay away agreement or a student victim safety plan. And both students must be referred to school-based team in order to receive the appropriate counseling. Process for reporting. The first form that should be completed is the 2508. Anyone on campus, on your school campus, can complete this form. This form is used as soon as the school knows that something has occurred on campus, who is involved, and what they say has happened. That's the first form that should be completed. Followed by Form 2509. This form is used at the end of the investigation to summarize the findings. This form is usually completed by the student safety liaison, the assistant principal, or the principal. Form 2597. This form is used to provide all documented evidence collected during the investigation. School supports. Once the investigations have occurred, The school then brings out the following if necessary: school police, DCF, school counselors, or district support. School interventions that may be implemented: schedule change, stay away agreement, safety plans, interventions that involve school staff. For our last activity, we're going back to the time when we first wrote our first post. When we were bullied, we observed someone being bullied, or we assisted a student that has been bullied. Now, I want you all to know that everyone has a responsibility in establishing a safe place to learn. But I want you to think back to the post that you did the first time. Now that you know you have your bullying first aid kit, what shield could be put in place to remove that Band-Aid and protect the students? Now that you have thought about it, I want you to scan the QR code once again, pause if you need to, and then type your response here. Thank you. Our mission here with the Department of Safe Schools is to create a safe place to learn for all students. We ask and we hope that you join us in this mission in creating a safe place to learn for all students. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to contact Diane Wyatt, manager, or myself, Dr. April Bullard.